Introducing Milo's Rewards, the new way to unlock savings from the palm of your hand. With every purchase, all loyalty members earn points toward Milo's money. Plus, you get free gas and free shipping. The all-new Milo's Rewards program is here. Download the app and join, earn, and save today. Bring your thunder for the storm down under. You guys are here for that reason. Shut up, everyone.
If you think this is not the place that you should be, then you need to get out.
New Bachelorette tonight on ABC. President Biden's weekend of torment. Behind closed doors in his vacation home. Betrayed, isolated, and what was the first lady's role in Biden's decision to drop out? Next exhibition. Today at 3 on ABC 7. Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Enhance your floors with Great Lakes Vinyl Plank. It's waterproof, easy to install, and features an attached pad for added comfort. London's Vinyl Plank is $279 per square foot after rebate. Get cleaner clothes and softer skin with Morton Water Softeners. Get this 27,000 grade water softener for $388.88 after 11% rebate at Menards. America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction. Save big money at Menards.
Today we're talking about podcasts that are popping, you might say, those leading the pack in listen rankings. And our next guest, well, they might be your next binge. It's been a month as #1 on Apple Podcast history charts, drawing listeners in with the family secrets, sex, and murder in the story. Take a look.
Renee.
Elma Sands was 22 when she was murdered in New York City.
It's a shame your entire case rests on a 27-year-old woman. It's a shame your case rests on proximity to money and power, Hamilton.
Her body was found discarded in the Manhattan Bell on the 2nd of January, 1800.
For the brutal beating and felonious murder of Julie Elma Sands, prisoner Levi Weeks pleads not guilty.
Even with defense lawyers Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr on the case, this is probably the most famous trial you've never heard of. The most famous trial you've never heard of. Well, a lot of people are listening to it. It was the nation's first murder trial, and now it's a top podcast. It's called Erase: The Murder of Elma Sands. Please welcome Allison Williams and Allison Flom to the show. Come on down. It's the first murder trial in United States history. Yes, ma'am. In the justice system. In the justice system as we know it. Yes. And the incredible part of this is that you had a stenographer there, so all the information comes from right in the room. The room where it happened. Exactly. What a fascinating way to deliver it, though. This is like a radio play. There was something so theatrical and stranger than fiction about this story. Like, we find out that this girl was murdered in a well. That well is in the basement of this clothing store, completely incongruous with what's surrounding now. The pictures on the screen are surrounded by sweaters and scarves and gloves and mannequins. And I'm there with like my hands on this death site, wanting to like scream at these shoppers, like someone was murdered here. I didn't do that because I instead found this goddess to help me amplify it in a more normal way. And I think finding that well, knowing that New York is changing all the time, erasing what stories get preserved. There was like a shot clock counting down. There was an urgency. It gave me goosebumps with that erasing the things that have happened, because this happened 224 years ago. Yeah. And we always talk about it, these walls that talk. And when you look at this story, the misogyny, the vitriol toward the victim, is crazy.
Yeah, it's really intense. It's honestly like tragically not far enough from the way people are treated by the justice system today, I think. But it is where it all started. If you look at it a certain way, had the people been in charge, been a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more open to a system that was inclusive of everybody, this trial could have gone very differently. But instead, well, no, just the normal power structures that have already, determined everything and continue to determine everything.
I'm sorry, because I'm so excited about this. Because it's great. Your point about today, it's about wealth. It's about access. And it's about what happens, least among us, when they depend on the justice that's why I wrote it in 2023 language, because this could happen today, and it is happening today. And I see every single day individuals and their stories being erased by the system because the system is doing its job. This trial exposes that it was built for people with money and connections and power to win and to erase anyone else that may be inconvenient. And because it's this is something that Drew Allison writes about in the Constitution, saying that social justice means we have a massive human rights crisis of mass incarceration. And so many people who are rotting in cages right now are there because of a system that was set up for them to lose. And this trial that directly exposed this fatal flaw in the system, which is that it was set up to work this way. So Catherine, this 27-year-old boss queen who sacrificed her Quaker values to put the victim's body on display and inspire this trial, she trusted the justice system because it was brand new.
Because Catherine is played by Allison.
Yeah.
And so the delivery of this is like a radio style. You really can't listen to the story, act it out. You're the executive producer, but you're acting as Catherine, Allison's cousin.
Exactly. Basically, she was this person who trusted her country, trusted the justice system, was mourning the recent death of George Washington from the common cold, and just to put us back in time and place, and was someone who would have thought everything worked out the way it should, and then suddenly her cousin is murdered, and she feels that this wrong is not being paid attention to, and so she, in violation of her Quaker beliefs, makes the very, very bold decision to put her cousin's body on display publicly once it had been dredged
I
up.
want to play a clip about how Ella is portrayed. Remember now, she is the victim, and now she's identified as worthless. You talked about it, Allison. Let me play a clip.
So I'm no lawyer, but it seems like a good attorney builds empathy for their client, and Byrd and Hamilton did that in several strategic ways, but they also kind of made Ella's life seem worthless and destitute as part of their argument, almost saying like, so what if worst case scenario our client did kill her, like who cares?
I mean, obviously, we all just walked out of the play a few years ago singing Alexander Hamilton.
I know every syllable of that.
It's about my son knows every song in Hamilton.
Yeah.
This paints him as complicated as he really is. I love the musical, it's phenomenal, but Alexander Hamilton was a complicated.
Sure was. And we get into some of that in the musical, and we get into more of it here.
Yeah.
You know,
But there's a line in the musical about this.
Exactly. This case is actually referenced in the musical.
Yeah.
But there's no mention of Ella's name, which I think is a microcosm of how this story is just used to support a larger narrative that we're taught time and again. This is a story that has been erased and pushed aside as collateral. It just offers another perspective on Hamilton, and I think it was complicated for Tony Goldwyn to play.
But the reality is, Byrd and Hamilton defended the accused here.
They're kind of taking the Constitution for a test drive